Welcome to the Power Up Talk Show, a talk show where we bring together community leaders and inspirational people that are making a difference in our world. Good afternoon, I am Sandy Spady, your host, and welcome to the Journey of Greatness. Before we introduce my amazing guest, we always have to kick it off with the amazing Dion Bass. What do we have over there, sir?
Hey, Sandy, how's it going?
Great.
Well, it's time for another installment of What Can I Make That's Delicious?
Oh.
So today I'm going to be doing a French 75 Bellini mashup. So the only difference here is instead of using a regular simple syrup, which, you're using your French 75s, I'm going to be using a peach puree that is fortified with sugar. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that with our 1 ounce of peach puree that's fortified with sugar. Imagine. Our next ingredient's going to be our lemon juice. Oh no,
Oops.
man down.
Whoops.
Followed by a Plymouth gin. Now this Plymouth gins can only be made in Plymouth, England. So they are regionally protected gins. Still feeling pretty bad about that lemon there.
That's okay. It's totally fine. Just use it.
Some lemons
There's worse germs out there.
Yeah.
they dance to the beat of their own drum,
Yeah, I think lemon just is a natural germ killer. We're good.
All right, now that we have all of our ingredients together, we're gonna shake. Pour that beautiful Bellini in the glass.
It's beautiful.
And then we're gonna finish these with a little Chandon.
Ooh, everything's better with champagne.
It is.
Oh no, don't fall over. Stop it, stop it.
Oh.
Champagning. And because I did do this on camera, I'll just kind of show you. You just kind of drape the lemon right there. And we'll finish these off just a little bit more champagne. And we are ready to go. A delicious Bellini for beautiful ladies. Cheers.
Thank you. Alrighty, my dear, cheers. Let's test
Thank
this
you.
out.
And there goes the garnish, but that's delicious. Thank you.
Wow. Audience, you're in for a treat because I have just the sweetest lady ever. Her name is Jackie Arrick, and she's a wife and mother, and her journey as an entrepreneur and just all the greatness she has done with her journey of just where she is today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. Okay, I'm beautiful because of her. So if you see anything, yes, she just does marvelous work. Jackie, tell us about the journey as an entrepreneurship. 14 years in the medical industry, correct?
Correct.
6 years as a nurse practitioner.
Yes.
Tell us the journey of that.
Oh, wow. Obviously, that involves a lot of schooling. And most of my career has been spent working in the hospital. July of last year, I decided I wanted to open my own med spa. I've always had this passion for just helping men and women feel better about themselves, just helping people pursue the most optimal health possible. And so last year I was like, you know what? Why not me? I see lots of other women around me doing this. In the state of Nebraska, as a nurse practitioner, you're able to start a place like this without other people to be involved with it. So I was like, let's do this, guys. Why not? So here we are.
And how long has that been now? A year, right?
So it's almost a year that I've been doing this business. Yes.
Nice. So I think that sounds like a
Yes.
year celebration party. Just saying, I'm really good at those. Tell us, what was the hardest thing to do that? I mean, you had a career, you had your friends, you had your employees, right?
Yes.
And then stepping into that as, I'm guessing as a mother, it was also
Absolutely.
more freedom, right? To be a mother. Tell us about the struggles now versus, before, about having your own schedule. It's a huge thing.
It is a huge thing. Obviously very rewarding, but in the beginning it is so much like building that business, and it takes a lot of time and energy and effort that people really don't even realize that you need to have. And honestly, I didn't even realize it until I got into it, how much it was going to be. Obviously, it takes a lot of support. You have to have great friends and family that are there to support you because it really does take a village. And then finding a good mentor and somebody who is there to help coach you through that process, because there really is no book or way or guideline for how to do this. And so it's so much of learning as you go. But again, like finding those people that are willing to help coach you and mentor you makes a huge difference.
So since I'm a coach, right, I coach
Yes.
women to
Yes.
publicly speak with confidence. Tell me, how do you go about finding a coach?
That's a really great question. To be honest with you, I did research. I looked around for the local med spas or med spas kind of here in the Midwest, and just reached out to a woman named Dr. Steph Gatika. She's actually in Ankeny, Iowa. She owns a really successful practice, and I just became friends with her. I've trained with her for a few times. I've bounced ideas off of her. I've called her or texted her if I had concerns and just needed advice. She has just been phenomenal for me. And I think it's hard in this business. There isn't a lot of that. You don't see a lot of collaboration locally as of right now. And so I'm really hoping that over time I can change that and hope that women in this industry will be comfortable with reaching out to each other and collaborating with each other. Because it really isn't about competition. It is about collaboration and supporting one another. So,
As a person deeply involved with community and in collaboration with my Women with Voices, I love that everyone can come together and do things together.
agreed.
The fact that you found someone in your industry as a coach makes complete sense, right? Because she's already done it, correct? She has her
Yes.
own, and then you have so much to compare for.
Right.
Because entrepreneurship can be very lonely, right? We do everything.
Yes.
Unless you have amazing people like Vanessa Matera that does your branding for you,
Yes.
that takes that part off it.
Yes.
What's the one thing is entrepreneurship you could give advice for women out there that either is thinking about doing it or jumping into it? Any advice you can give them?
I think you're never going to feel like it's the right time. I think you're always going to have doubts in the back of your mind, but ultimately, if this is truly your dream and you're willing to work for it, go for it. Consistency will be everything for you. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and it's going to be hard. And you're going to have days where you want to give up, but truly, if you stick with it, like I said, that consistency is everything. And I think that's true in a lot of things in life, but especially when you're owning a business and trying to get it off the ground and start it. Work hard, be consistent. Don't forget what your end game is.
The end game, I love
Yes.
that. What is the end game for you? Speaking of that, what is
I
that?
mean, I want to be able to offer lots of different services. I think that's always something you're passionate about when you work in this type of industry, because you want to be able to treat all different concerns for people. So I think end game, sure, is just being able to offer a larger variety of services, which of course that takes time, right? I mean, it takes time and it takes expertise and training. But ultimately, I think what I want to have is just an independently owned business where I work exclusively in one area, one job, and just have more say over my schedule and have more freedom. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I always want more time with my family. So
Absolutely. And as I know, you have a blended family.
I do.
And there's so many women out there. It's the new normal. We all have blended families.
Yes.
As living through that and you know, obviously being successful at it, what can you share with the audience about things that have helped you and your husband being a blended family?
That's a really good question. Honestly, communication is everything. And you have to be able to forgive, and you have to be able to give up some things that you probably didn't think you should before. But ultimately, it's just putting your kids first as well. So when you're trying to communicate as co-parents and things, and then also as a blended family, being married and everything, communication, patience, those are big things.
Yes, communication is the magic word for anything out there,
True.
right?
Very
As
true.
far as all the services that you do, what's your most popular service? Share with the audience exactly what does Jackie do?
Okay. So yes, yeah, that's a good question. It's just organized chaos right now. So I do injectables. So I do dermal filler, and then I also do Botox. I do medical grade microneedling, medical grade chemical peels, and then I do medical weight loss. So think semaglutide, tirzepatide. And to be honest with you, that's actually the most popular thing that we're doing right now.
I was just going to ask you what's the most
service.
popular.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
So the medical weight loss is an injectable medication, essentially. And the medication works on the body, and it works to help decrease hunger. It helps to work on some of the hunger hormones, so it helps people with things like cravings and kind of helps with some of that food noise. So ultimately, over time, people will lose weight on the medication. But with that comes a program. The shot isn't just going to fix things for people, and that's something I try to stress to people, is that with this program, we're trying to make lifestyle changes. Ultimately, my number one goal for people is for you to have better health. And I don't want it to just be, let's take a shot and see if that essentially will fix the issue. It's truly trying to figure out how can I make your life better or help you make your life better. Whether that is incorporating more physical activity, is that changing up kind of how we eat? Is there something that we need to look at emotionally or physically to help you be a healthier person? And that's what so much of that program entails for people too. And I think that's why people come to me, is because I offer more than just a weight loss medication. I'm offering a program where I truly want you to be successful both on and off the medication. And I want you to live a healthier life. So.
That is so interesting. So my daughter has type 1 diabetes, and in her high school years, she took a shot, right, to help with her, because it's hard to keep your insulin, you know, straight, and then you can gain weight. As far as like type 1, type 2 diabetics, or people with heart problems or cholesterol problems, do you find that that drug is something that can help all three of those?
So it's a drug that you can't, as of right now, use in type 1 diabetics. However, you can use it in type 2 diabetics and people who are predisposed or have existing heart problems. Honestly, weight loss in and of itself, dietary changes and increased physical activity, that trifecta right there can significantly reduce your risk of heart problems and can reduce your risk of things like heart attack, or for me to see you in the hospital undergoing open heart surgery. So
I'm avoiding anything heart attack right now. I'm 56 and I'm like, okay, audience, I am not going there. And it happens, right? A lot of it's hereditary too.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone that should not take that?
There are people that have certain pre-existing conditions or history in their family. There's a specific type of thyroid cancer or an endocrine cancer that people cannot have family history of or personal history of and take this medication. Additionally, you have to be a certain BMI, and there have to be other health indicators for you to be able to take the medication. So,
wow, how long has this been out?
It's been out for a few years now, and then recently it's been FDA approved for actual weight loss. Prior to that, it was FDA approved for type 2 diabetes. So
interesting.
Yes.
I love building communities. Do you have a community within all these patients that take this to do like a community type thing, to like have a support group? Or have you ever thought about anything like that?
I have actually, because I think that would be extremely helpful for these people. I think that it helps people to feel like they're not alone in something, and for them to realize that they're going through the same thing a lot of other people are too. And so that's actually something I've thought about and really am hoping to incorporate within the next 6 months within this program.
Well, I'll help you,
thanks.
right? I love bringing people together. And I love where you see a need that they need each other's support. I don't care if it's like mental illness, type 1 diabetes, you know, but this particular demographic, I feel like it would really help for that community of like having someone to turn to for that.
Absolutely. That support makes a huge difference. And I think that because they're getting even just that one-on-one support, it's already making a big difference. So I realized that that group support would be even better.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's great. Tell me, what's the second most popular service that you do?
Toxin, of course.
Okay, what's that?
And by that I mean injectable toxin.
Okay, okay.
So Botox, Jeuveau, Daxxify, Dysport, Xeomin. Essentially, they're all the injectable toxins that you do for, you know, anti-aging and wrinkle treatments. However, there are some other really cool things we can do with Tox.
Hey, tell me. I'm like excited now. Yeah, sure.
So Tox isn't just for people who have wrinkles and, you know, fine lines, wrinkles, and are concerned with things like aging. Interestingly enough, you can actually use Tox to deal with things like chronic pain, migraines, tendinitis. You can even treat acne or overactive sweat glands in people as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different medical uses for it as well. So it isn't just for people who, like I said, want to treat like fine lines and wrinkles on their face. So it's been really fun to treat people for other reasons too. So.
I've actually heard of Botox helping with migraines. I had a friend that had migraines all through high school.
Absolutely.
And I think she did try that. That's great. All right, let's talk about Botox. When should a person start Botox? I personally, I'm not going on this ship without a fight. No way. So I started in my 30s.
Yes.
Tell us, like, when did people start? What's a good age?
I think 30s is a good age for people to start Tox. However, I like to call it prejuvenation. So I think before you start to really see those fine lines and wrinkles develop, maybe like late 20s, early 30s is a good time to consider, because it helps reduce that muscle movement, what actually in return will help reduce the appearance or the development of those fine lines and wrinkles that are there all the time. We call them static lines. So if you actually start treating yourself before those show up, you're less likely to have those deep set wrinkles over time. So
that's what my family had right there. Right there, but no, not me. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. Is there any stigma about people that don't want to say that they're getting anything to, better themselves, I say, or look better. It's okay to look good.
Right.
It's okay to have
Right.
that. But I have friends that are like, don't tell anyone. I'm just getting a little. What do you tell people that are thinking about doing it, but they're like, oh, is it like stuck up? Am I being like materialistic? Like, what is it that you can tell these audience out there that they want to do it, they're not sure how to do it, maybe there's a stigma? How can you help them?
To be honest with you, you're not wrong. I have, maybe 50% of my clients are completely open and honest with people about what they have done and they don't mind. And then there's also that other half that perhaps they don't want people to know because, like you said, there's that stigma associated with. To be honest, if it makes you happy, go for it. That's how I feel.
If it makes you happy, go for it. As long as it's legal, all right?
That is a good point.
Yes, yes, I'm teasing now.
Yes.
But it's so true because when you feel good and your hair looks good and your makeup looks good, I mean, not everyone's like that, but if that's you, it's okay. It's okay to spoil yourself because you work hard. Yes.
I think investing in yourself first makes a big difference because it just makes you a better person overall in other avenues of your life too. And I think that's another thing that we fail to do as parents. So is to take time for ourselves. And so I just try to encourage people to, again, not feel bad about spending maybe a little bit of money on themselves. I mean, we work hard for that money. And ultimately, like I said, it makes you better in other areas of your life. So
as far as the males out there, I know you're coming, it's okay. But what is it that you can see or that you see popular for the males coming to your services?
I do actually treat a lot of men that are doing the medical weight loss. Oftentimes they do it even with their spouse, which is great. I'm like, more power to you both. You're more likely to be successful if you guys are, doing a program like this together and making those changes together. So a lot of men that do the weight loss stuff, but I also have men that come in and do Botox and do chemical peels and microneedling. They have similar concerns of their appearance as we women do. Probably more of a stigma associated with that. But to be honest with you, I think it's great when men want to take care of their faces and things too. And they want to feel good just as much as we ladies do. So yeah, you'd be surprised. We call it Brotox.
That's great.
Yes.
It's okay, man. It's okay to spill yourselves too. Just call Jackie.
Yes.
As far as there's a lot of different spas, a lot of different clinics out there, and they're all great, right? I believe that we all do something, we do something better or something, different. Mm-hmm. How can you stand out, or what makes you stand out in your industry as far as a spa clinic from the others?
And I completely agree with you because I do want to preface the conversation and say there are phenomenal med spas in Omaha, and we have an abundance of them, and that's great. And I love that there's so many women-owned businesses that are local, and I'm all about it because I truly am applauding these people from the sidelines. They may not see it or know it, but I am. I do think a big thing that I offer at my spa is just the client experience. My appointments, I don't rush through things. I like to talk and get to know people. People come in and talk about some really vulnerable stuff with me. When you're talking about weight loss and what that means on you emotionally, that's a big deal. And so you need to give people a safe space and give people time to be able to express how they feel and to get comfortable with you as well. And I think that's the biggest part and what I enjoy the most too, is just getting to know these people and giving them a good, safe experience.
Do you feel that your experience of working with patients in the medical industry, in the clinics, that is part of that, of you wanting to help and really listen to your clients' needs?
100%. It's hard to see people come through that a lot of these things that they're dealing with, whether it's heart disease, heart failure, things like that. Oftentimes this stuff can be preventable, but a lot of people don't have the tools or know how to prevent these diseases and to do the right things. And I feel like that's where I also come in. So while we talk about med spa, we also talk about the wellness aspect of it too, and that's where this side is. So.
As far as that weight loss injection, is that something that someone stays on for a year, or are they 2 years, 5 years, down the dose? How does that work?
That's a really good question, and a question that honestly most of the clients will ask too. And truly, it's very individualized on that person. So some people have more substantial weight to lose, and therefore they'll probably be on the medication for a long time, whereas some people might only need 4 months of the medication. Then we can talk about weaning and tapering off, or talk about doing a maintenance dose. It truly depends on that person's weight and how they're doing. And if they feel like they're in a good place to start coming off the medication, do they have good foundation in place to remain successful? And that's where we talk about that physical activity, making good, or better diet choices, and just having that support that they need. So very individualized, but a good question.
Do you have anyone that you find that could abuse it? They want it fast now, and then you have to wait?
Sure. And I think that's where that teaching aspect comes in with people too, is just saying like, this is how the medication was studied, this is how the medication is dosed, and this is how it will be administered. And there are reasons why. And that's a lot of what I do too, is educating my clients on the safety of these medications and the reason why we use them a certain way. There are people who will ask, hey, can we maybe go up on the dose more quickly? However, taking a step back and saying that it's not safe, it just wasn't studied that way. There is a process for us doing this. That slow, sustained weight loss is the safest for you, and it's how you're going to be most successful without having, excessive side effects or potential for weight regain right away. So,
have you ever had to take it away from someone that was misusing it? Like they weren't listening to you and they were just losing just a ton of weight that wasn't healthy? Have you ever had to do that?
Thankfully, I haven't had to take it away necessarily, but I've had to coach people if they're losing weight a little bit rapidly of how like this isn't safe. We need to probably back off on things, or we need to start doing a food diary and figuring out what are you eating, what are you not eating, are you severely under eating? Because the last thing I want is for this to be unsafe or for people to develop like nutritional deficiencies. And again, that rapid weight loss can be really hard on the body. So there is a safe way to do this. And this is why having guidance like this, somebody you see week to week or have access to talk to as often as needed, is very important. That's why going to providers that maybe can't give you that support isn't always the best idea, because we want you to do this the right way.
Because it can be opposite for health too.
Absolutely. Right. So you need good guidance.
Great.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, who's Jackie? Tell us, Jackie, what do you like to do? What do you like to do in your free time? I mean, you're a mother and you're a wife, but what does Jackie like to do?
I love to read.
Okay.
And I love to be physically active. So I like to work out. I like to be outside. I don't really have a lot. This is like the worst
entrepreneurship.
answer.
We don't have a lot of time.
I know.
Yes.
Right now I don't, because I am truly in this transitional phase where I do still work in the hospital because I love my job. I do. I work in cardiothoracic surgery, and I work a couple of days a week there. And then I started this business, and I'm kind of in that weird transitional where I'm still doing both. Yes. Because again, it's hard to step away. I do love my job. So I don't have as much free time as one would probably like, but I do love to read. And like I said, I love to be active and just outside and spend time with my family. Yeah. So my kids are everything. They're my life. So
yes. What's the best thing about being a mom?
Oh, that's a good question. I think just watching them grow into their own individual person and being part of that journey has just been really fun. My oldest is 13 now, and just watching her come into the person that she's just so smart. She's such a good kid, so well behaved, so sweet and kind, really smart. She works hard in school and she likes to play sports. It's just been fun to like watch her grow into that person. It's also kind of scary too, because time goes really fast. I will say as a parent, it's insane. And my youngest will be 5 actually this week. And again, sweet, best personality, just so much energy. It's just been fun to watch them grow. And like I said, just be able to guide them to be good people and in the right direction in life. So
it's so important, because I talk to high schoolers and junior high.
Yeah.
And I just want them to love themselves and have that confidence at an early age.
Yes.
And look at where I'm not today, but where I want to go tomorrow. And I think parenthood is so important as that process.
It is.
And I love that you take that as number one, because it's going to, in the long run, have successful adults.
Thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
I 100% agree. So thank you.
What is the one thing as far as collaboration, because we're here, we can share it on the audience.
Yes.
I just sense a great collaboration of wellness, right? You could work with gyms, you could work with
Absolutely.
health coaches. What would be your best, if you could have your ideal collaboration, what would it be? Because they could be listening.
Oh, so I do have a really good collaboration.
Ooh, let's hear
So
it.
I work with this gym out in Elkhorn, Motivera 360. And so we actually do a hybrid program where they can do the semaglutide in addition to a gym membership with personal training, nutritional support. We're giving them everything they need right there in a package to be successful. Because again, it's going to take more than just a medication to fix the complex process that is us gaining weight and obesity and those types of things. And so we have a great collaboration.
How does that work? Do you go together? Do you have a monthly gathering with everyone, or they just promote you, you promote them, and they have a collaboration of like a membership or a coach, a weight coach? Like, how does that work? It sounds really great.
It is. So the girls at the gym, they have the program already set up on their end. So they have the nutrition coach, the personal trainer, and obviously the space to do the workouts and such. And they have X amount of days a week where that client comes in to do the workouts with them. They additionally will do their food log or their, their nutrition logs. And then they also do body composition testing. So you can get, before and after to see like how much fat loss, what type of muscle gain have you had, to show like your success in that program as well. And then I help provide that medication and that guidance on the medical side of things. So honestly, that's like an all-in-one, like that's
beautiful.
Perfect.
Yes.
Right.
I love that. How long have you been doing that?
We've been doing it about 6 months now. So we've had several clients that have enrolled in the program and are doing extremely well. So if I could have come up with a perfect collaboration, it's already been done.
It's already done.
Yeah. And
now, would you open that up to other facilities, or are you just going to stick with that and see how it goes?
I mean, I think if we're ultimately, like I had talked about, my goal is to help people, like to be healthier. I want you to have a good foundation. I want you to understand how important nutrition and exercise are for your health and well-being. And if other people are open to that, I'm all about it. So, because like I said, I just want to help people. So
I think women in general, we love to help, right?
Absolutely, yes. I think the mothering side and probably the medical, nursing side of things too. So, yes.
How can people get a hold of you, Jackie? Where can they find you? Tell us. We want Jackie. How do we get a hold of you?
Well, of course, Instagram. So Elite Aesthetics by Jackie. And then, of course, my Google or my business page through Google, you can find me very easily that way too. There's a contact form on there. And my phone number is actually on Instagram. So all of my contact information is there as well. So,
well, thank you, Jackie. She's
you
also
so
a sponsor of this Power Up Talk Show. That's why I look so great. So thank you for that also.
Beautiful.
Remember, anyone can make a difference. Anyone can go make a change, but you have to take that first step to do it. You have to have that desire that you can help someone, because we all have something special to share. So just go out there, take that step, make that change. I'm Sandy Spady. Thank you for being a part of the Power Up Talk Show. Go be the change.